Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aligning with Purpose, a podcast where we explore themes of finding your true purpose, from quitting corporate, moving cities, practicing holistic health, and more. Join me as we discover our purposes together. My name is Juli, and I'm so happy you're here. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone, and welcome to the season 1 finale of Aligning with Purpose. I can't believe that we are on our 26th episode of Aligning with Purpose, and today I want to talk about a little bit of my reflections, my growth that I've gone through, the reason why I created this podcast, and everything in between. As we're already in March of 2026, which is insane because we are almost a third of the way or a fourth of the way through this year, there's just so much to unpack. So let's talk about all of that today and honor the season 1. Before we get into today's podcast episode, I do want to start off with our Beauty and Humanity segment. And last week, I lost my gold ring on my finger. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can see the ring. I was just so dumb. And I know I don't really want to call myself that on a normal basis because the language you speak to yourself is very, very important. But when I lost this ring, I did feel so much guilt, so much anxiety, and so much shame. I was in the locker room changing. I took off my ring because I didn't want it to get damaged, and I put it on the hook of the locker. I don't know why I did that. I think I just had thought, okay, I'll notice it. I'm going to put it back on and carry on with my day. But of course, I forget the ring, and a few days later, I realized that it's gone. I didn't even know that I lost it at the gym at this point. I thought it was somewhere in the apartment, and I was looking everywhere, and I just couldn't really think about where I could have misplaced this item. And another few days go by, and I realized I had this epiphany that I had hooked my ring into the locker. I call the gym frantically, and they tell me that they can't find it, but I give them my name because it has my name and my boyfriend's name engraved into the ring because we made it in Japan a couple years ago, so it had a lot of sentimental value for me. They couldn't find the ring, and I just was so low, and I felt my heart sink that I had lost something so important to me and that I was so careless, and how could I have lost it? There's just so many negative thoughts going through my head. The next day, I was still at a low, but I got a call on the way to work, and his name is Noah. He found the ring. He called back saying, I found your ring with the engravings in it. Feel free to come pick it up. I just felt so much gratitude because, one, I know when it comes to other people's belongings or lost items, I don't think it's always taken as seriously, and I understand why those people don't have that attachment as you do to your own items. And I felt like he really took the time to look for it, and I also didn't give him my phone number, so he had to look back in the call log to see what time I called and for him to put in the effort to even call. That was just really kind. The sheer effort is what made me really, really grateful. I also was really praying a lot to my angels, my guides, my ancestors, and in the moment that he called, I just knew that it was also the work of my angels and my guides. I had known that the ask that I made for them to help me out in this moment was really them helping me out. The train ride down to work when he called, I just started sobbing because I just felt this overwhelming sense of care, like this spiritual hug from my guides. It was just this inexplainable feeling of gratitude and appreciation and this love that I felt from the depths of my heart. And if you're not spiritual or woo-woo, you might be like, okay, this is crazy. But for me, I really believe in synchronicities. And when you reach out to your guides, they're there to assist you and help you on your life journey. So as small as this moment was, I am so grateful. If you're feeling like you're hard on yourself for losing something or something that you've done, just know that you're human and sometimes you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. So without further ado, let's get right into today's season finale. Can you guys believe that we are already in March of 2026? I feel like 2026 has flown by. I feel like January had just started, and it is crazy that we are almost a fourth of the way through this year. If you are watching on YouTube, you can probably tell the change in my background, and I did move. Just a quick disclaimer, I do live on a busy street now, so if you do hear some sirens or some honking or any street noises, that might be something that you'll notice from now on in the next season and onwards. Please bear with me with all the background noises that you could potentially hear, and I just want to apologize for that in advance. I moved in with my boyfriend in late January. We went from long distance to moving in together, so maybe in season 2 I can talk about how to survive a long distance relationship and all things that come with healthy communication in long distance and also moving in with a partner for the first time. But it's been a really, really good chapter for me to learn more about myself, more about our relationship together, about him, and I am just really grateful that I have a support system that I live with now. Not gonna lie, in the beginning, I did have a lot of worries because we did take a step skipping living in the same city. We just went under the same roof right away. I didn't know what it would be like to merge lives with someone under the same roof. And I think that is completely natural going into a new phase of your life. It doesn't have to be living with your boyfriend. It could be doing something new for the first time. Anything new that you're going through in life, you are bound to feel different types of emotions. And it's important for you to fully feel them, to process it, and then you can really enjoy the next chapter that you have ahead for you. So yeah, that is a quick life update from me, and I will share more in the coming months in season 2 of this podcast. So, as the season 1 finale of this podcast, I do want to reflect on everything that this podcast is and start with the origin of this podcast. A lot of people ask me why I started a podcast in the first place. And I'm not going to lie, for 5 or 6 years, I really wanted to start a podcast. And I didn't know the reason why, but I had a spiritual awakening 3 years ago. And I think it was 3 years ago. In this spiritual awakening, I had understood that we are so interconnected more than we know. And I know that's a concept that I bring up a lot in my Beauty and Humanity segment, but that concept really cemented in my head that there's a lot of love and light in the world. Despite all the darkness, there are so many good people. We are pitted against each other on a day-to-day basis, but when you can heal yourself and know the amount of light and love that you carry as an individual, and you truly commit to healing yourself, you heal the world around you and with the people around you. So this concept was something that I had awoken to. Of course, I want some of the nice things in life, right? I think that is completely human and normal and natural to want those things. But my brain chemistry really shifted in that I wanted to do something that had a positive impact on humanity around me and not just for the benefit of me. So let's say I wanted to live in a nice house, make a lot of money, have my own business for my own ego. Like those are the things that past me wanted. But after the spiritual awakening, it had really shifted me to wanting things to benefit others. So I wanted to find what my purpose was, align with my purpose, and really work towards that because those things would help people. And by helping people, that would also bring me abundance from the right place. So me wanting a podcast 5 years ago, I didn't exactly know what that was or what I wanted to talk about even. And I think that truly was me or my intuition or my mind prepping me for the moment that I had 6 months ago when I launched this podcast. Truly to answer the question of why I created this podcast, it's to help people align with their purposes. And I am only merely sharing my experience when I talk about aligning with purpose from my point of view, but by bringing guests on, by talking about my story as well, I really hope that it shares with people that everyone truly has a purpose on this planet, on Earth, and when they can truly claim who they are, to embody themselves, to remember who they are working towards being in alignment and working towards their purpose. That was the reason why I created this podcast. I wanted to help people and to be a voice to those that need it. My story is quitting corporate a year and some change ago and understanding that I had to really have discernment and see why I didn't want to be in corporate anymore, because I had values misalignment with corporate and a bunch of different reasons, right? So being able to share these perspectives, it wasn't to tell other people that they should also be taking this path, but to really share that if you want that path, then you can also have it. And if you have a different path cut out for you, then you can also have that path. And it's really to share that you can create whatever life you want and really do that from a place of purpose and to align with who you truly are. It's to anchor into the version of yourself that you want to be and that you're meant to be. That is the big why of why I created this podcast. And growing something takes a lot of time. And I think if it were past me, I would have felt discouraged by looking at the numbers. And that's common even on Instagram, right? Like you could post something and keep checking the amount of likes you're getting and getting validation from external voices and sources. But when you are rooted in doing it for the right reason and because you know that it's right to your core, then you start to stop caring about the number in front of you because you're doing it from a place of calling and purpose. I think if it were past me, like I mentioned, I think I would have wanted to rush the process. I would have been anxious about where it's going and whatnot. But right now in this moment, I am just so grateful for the growth I've had in consistency in being able to open up and share my voice and to put out this 26th episode because it feels true to me and because I'm able to do it from a place where my heart feels open and right to do it instead of doing it because I'm sharing a message that I think I need to be sharing. And there's a huge difference between sharing something because you think you should be doing something versus the thing that you really want to be sharing. And with this, I've learned so much. It's obviously come with a lot of failures and learnings. And in the beginning, not gonna lie, I was really, really hard on myself. It was really hard to talk in front of mic, and it still is to this day. Getting in front of the mic, I would constantly, especially a solo podcast, right? When you're talking, it sounds like a long monologue, and then when you lose your train of thought, you kind of have to start over. And then there was a period of time for the first 10 episodes where I was constantly re-recording the same thing over and over because I didn't like how I sounded, or I forgot my train of thought, or there were so many things, my inner voice criticizing what I was doing. And my mind would just not turn off. But the beautiful thing is I actually had a podcast guest. I would highly recommend you go listen to Brenda Lee Matash's episode. We talked about speaking from a place where it comes from the heart and how that resonates with the people around you. When you're speaking from your mind, that's when you're connecting with people from your mind and you're not able to share that open heart connection with them. So that was the moment it really shifted for me to know that it's okay if it doesn't sound as polished or as perfect. It just matters that it's coming from the heart. And that was the ultimate goal of this podcast in the first place. So there was a lot of learnings that came with dealing with how I thought it should be presented versus what I really wanted to share out there. I know I mentioned that earlier, right? Like saying something because you think you should or because you really want to. So I was falling into that trap myself of saying something because I felt like it sounded good versus saying something because it was raw and authentic. So a lot of growing and working through those things and those judgments, self-judgment I had on myself. And that is just the complete honest truth of the beginning of the season. Of course, there's obviously going to be a lot more learnings and growings that come with, producing a podcast. But I am so grateful for this self-growth journey that I've been on. And this podcast really gave me the opportunity to do that. It pushed me out of my comfort zone more than I ever wanted to do, but was so necessary. And being able to share my voice and also to push myself to do that, it made me know that we each have such special talents and voices to share in this world. When we're able to speak our truth and share that with others, then you're also able to embody who you are more and more. And for me, that's just been the biggest blessing that this podcast has given me. So it's been a really fun, stressful, empowering, challenging, but transformative time in my life. And I'm so grateful for the people that have supported me so far, that have reached out to me, and that have shared their stories with me too, because it's really about that human connection at the end of the day. And I want this podcast to foster that open human connection that we have with each other, because again, we are so close and interconnected more than we know. And it truly makes me happy when we can share our truths together and we break down those walls together. And so thank you so much for being a part of season 1 of Aligning with Purpose. I am so excited for season 2 of Aligning with Purpose. There's going to be a lot more Big Sister advice episodes. There will be a lot more holistic health, sustainability content that I will be putting out there. That is a topic that is super duper important to me. So I want to commit to bringing more of those episodes to you in this next season. And of course, there's going to be a lot more of identity, spirituality as well, and more guest podcast episodes as well, so I can share more people's stories with you. And on top of that, I am going through a really big career transition. So I will be sharing more about that in season 2. And really excited to launch all of that and to share my offerings with you. So be on the lookout for all those things in season 2. And season 2 will be launching on Thursday, April 23rd, which is actually my birthday. So I will be turning 30 on April 23rd of this year. And I am so excited to be entering a new decade, but also launching season 2 of this podcast on a special day. So look back on Thursday, April 23rd, and I can't wait to see you there. And before we hop off, I have a quick announcement. So Brenda Lee Matash, who is a podcast guest on Aligning with Purpose, she has her business called Attuned Guidance, and her mission is to inspire you to release the confines of your identity and embrace your authentic self, empowering you to become the true creator of your life and transform your dreams into powerful realities. So with my discount code, you're going to receive 40% off of a Gene Key session or her digital courses that she offers. So she has 4 digital courses. One of them is Master Your Triggers. The second one is Learn How Your Vibration Attracts Your Life. The third course is Mirror Reflections. And in this course, you're going to discover yourself through others. And in her last course, Signs and Synchronicities, you can decode the language of the universe. So she has a lot of very powerful information for you to really understand who you are at the core and to really come back to yourself and remember who you were. And I think it's so special for her to share her gifts with everyone. And each course is $54, but if you were to buy all courses, it's $108, which makes it $27 overall. But with my discount code, which is 40% off, you get an additional 40% off and you get lifetime access to all her courses. I think that is one of the biggest investments that you can make in yourself, because you really get to know who you are at the core and you get to transform your life and live your dream life that you want to live. So you can either put 40% towards a digital course or digital courses, or you can put the 40% off towards a Gene Key session. So you can do either or, and it never expires. So feel free to use this discount code at your convenience whenever you're ready to do it. It's going to be Yoshi40, YOSHI 40. Again, it's going to be YOSHI 40. I really hope you've been enjoying Aligning with Purpose so far, and thank you so much for joining me on season 1 of this podcast. It's been a pleasure to bring a lot of these different messages to you every week, and I can't wait for season 2 on Thursday, April 23rd. I'll still be posting short form content on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, on Instagram, so you can follow me there for updates. And if you want to subscribe to this podcast, you can find me on any of your favorite streaming platforms, including Spotify, and a video version on YouTube. I'm also on social media on Instagram and TikTok at aligningwithpurpose.pod and at Juli, which is my personal one, spelled JULIYOSHI. If you enjoyed today's podcast episode and season 1 so far, please leave me a rating and review, and that really helps to put out this message to more people. So I am so grateful for each and every one of you and for your support so far. Can't wait for April 23rd, and see you then for season 2.